When you think of Pokemon Black and White 2, what pops into your mind? Maybe it's the joy of being able to use older Pokemon, the Pokemon World Tournament, the amazing music, the intricate story, but for me, it's getting dragged into the PokeStar studios every single time. Now, if you're like me and you've only dipped your toes into the PokeStar studios, then you've probably never heard of these Pokemon. Basically, in the PokeStar studios, there are many different movies that you can star in, and each of these movies have their own special opponent with Pokemon-like types, abilities, movesets, and stats. Here are all the Pokemon that you've never heard of in Pokemon Black and White 2. Just a little preface, every single Pokemon has 100 base stats all around, rivaling our beloved Mythicals. Game Freak really said, let's give these random objects the same base stat totals as our beloved Mew and Genesect. First Pokemon, we got a literal human named Black Belt. Fighting type, and it's got the huge power ability. Basically, this guy is Sock 2.0 but better, and it's got the stance for it too. Next Pokemon, we got the Gates to Hell, a Black Door. This Black Door is a grass type Pokemon and has the early bird ability, which I'm not too sure why. In my opinion, I feel like it deserves the Dark type because of its menacing look, and the Fire type because of its flames at the top. Next Pokemon, we got Brycen-Man. Our boy Brycen came out of retirement to come help us act. He is a Dark and Psychic type Pokemon with the Levitate ability. Now, one question I had is why my boy Brycen is not considered an Ice type. I mean, 2 years ago he was literally standing in sub-zero temperatures every single day. Next up, we got a special appearance from Wally's kids. We got F00 and F00. Very creative names for both of your children. Now, both Pokemon are Steel and Normal type, and the little boy having Volt Absorb and the big boy having Reckless. Now, time to say goodbye to Wally's kids. Bye, Wally's kids. Next up, we got something that looks like Voldingo's evil twin, Humanoid. Now, be very honest with me. Does this guy look humanoid to you? Personally, this looks like something that would come out of Plants vs. Zombies. Anyways, Humanoid is a normal type Pokemon with the Insomnia ability. Now, because Halloween just passed, let's crank up the spooky meter one knob. Meet Magin. Honestly, Magin to me looks like a rejected version of one of the legendary genies because it would cause nightmares. Literally, when I look at this thing, it's already giving me nightmares. Magin is a Dark and Ghost type Pokemon with the ability Wonder Guard. Now, in this generation, Fairy types has not been introduced yet, so you literally could not hit this thing. You could only defeat this Pokemon with status moves and weather. Alright, next Pokemon, apparently Game Freak already made a Futuristic Tyranitar before Scarlet and Violet. Here is MT, a Steel type Pokemon with the Analytic ability. Honestly, MT looks kinda similar to Dark Tyranitar in Pokemon Forever, both looking very menacing and very evil. Next up, we got Batter Iron Thorns, MT2. He is a Steel Electric type with the Flash Fire ability, which is pretty dope. Okay, so now this next entry gets kinda weird. If you've got any specific fetishes, you might want to look away, because for this one, we got Monica's lower body. I'm not sure who in the right mind at Game Freak thought to add this Pokemon into a children's game. We should be grateful that this Pokemon is not in the Pokedex either, and instead it is in the hidden depths of PokeStar Studios. Otherwise, there'd be very weird fan theories about this one. Well, anyways, Monica is a normal type Pokemon with a huge power ability. This is the first time I'm gonna mention moveset for no specific reason. This Pokemon has the moves Crush Grip, Focus Punch, Growl, Rage, Double Slap, Stomp, and Teeter Dance. Take that as you will. Next up, we got the Old Scary Monster. It is a Dark type Pokemon and the Pressure ability. To be honest, nothing too interesting about this Pokemon. But once you complete this movie, this Pokemon looks like a Mario 64 painting, but a lot more scarier. Next up, we've got Transport. Now, if you're like me, this thing looks like a futuristic time machine we've all been dreaming of thanks to Back to the Future. Transport is a Steel type Pokemon with the Motor Drive ability. Next up, we've got the Marley airship from Attack on Titan, UFO. Now, I've heard from multiple reporters and multiple sources from insiders that this UFO looks like it can wipe out Paradise Island, but those are just rumors. Anyways, it's an electric flying type Pokemon with Levitate. Basically a better version of Rotom Band with the same useless ability. Next up, we've got UFO 2.0. Do I see any visual difference between UFO 1 and UFO 2? Not really, but I'm here for it. This UFO is a Psychic Electric type Pokemon with the Levitate ability. Last but not least, we got the White Door. Yup, after facing the doors to hell, it's only right that we finish up with the doors to heaven. It is a fire-type Pokemon with the Blaze ability. If you've only suffered through the PokeStar Studios when the game forced you to, you probably haven't heard of these Pokemon before. But I've got to admit, it's kinda cool to see Game Freak turn these everyday objects into something usable. Anyways, comment down below what your favorite Pokemon is, and if you like this type of content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe.